from the happiest place in the Lone Star State. Welcome back to the Talking Mickey Project. TMP is your home for Disney fans of all abilities. Now, it's your host, Emma.
Hello, everyone.
Howdy, y'all. All y'all. I said all y'all in the chat. How y'all been?
I don't know my mom in the dark.
I'm in the dark.
I'm
I'm in the dark. Hey, it's an old joke.
funny.
Where were you when the lights went out?
In the dark.
In the dark.
What a method!
Oh, jeez. Hey, everybody.
I'm doing the fight song for the movie, okay?
Okay. I know you are. Tell your friends hello.
Hello.
Tell them individually hello.
Hello.
You know who's here.
No.
Who's here?
Hi, Dennis. Hi, Mary. Hi, Mary.
What?
Hi, Mary.
Oh, jeez. Hi, you. Oh, gosh. Come on. Keep going.
Okay. Hello. Wait. Hello.
It's dead silent when you're.
Oh, sorry. Hello. Hi, April. Hi, Jonathan. Hi, Mike.
Crazy Mike.
Oh, probably Mike already got. We have two Mike here.
We do?
No, I think they.
Oh, Mike Clovich isn't in.
Yeah. Hi, Brian. I had a good chat with Brian earlier.
Okay. And
Hi, Mommy.
partner Brian.
I said Brian.
All right, before we start our thing, why don't you put up Daddy's message?
Where?
Go down. Down. New comments. The long one.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Read. By the way, we've got some surprise celebrity videos coming for Emma's 3rd anniversary show on 8/23. Have you sent us your video yet? Email your 3-year anniversary message to talkingmickeypodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Well, it's to specify podcast, not to say project.
Yeah,
Podcast.
podcast.
Because initially it was going to be just a podcast.
Yes.
So, yes. And tonight, Emma is continuing her reaction summer. You're blocking me.
Oh,
Her reaction summer
yeah.
with replaying her and Skipper Dad's interview with WDW News Today's Mr. Tom Corless.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I should say buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. But I wasn't a part of this. I watched it afterwards, and I need to refresh my memory. So here we go, Emma.
Guys, let me know on y'all if y'all can hear the audio.
Trust me, they'll let you know if they don't hear anything.
For Disney fans of all abilities. Now, from the TMP studios high above the skyline of the Alamo City, it's your host, Emma.
See, I hear it on here.
Welcome, everybody. How y'all doing tonight? Got to be a gaff right away, and that was me, of course. Hey, howdy, folks. Happy Saturday.
Hey, it's going well.
To Joey and to Miss Lisa, Mr. Keith, right? And Miss Bridget's there. Hey.
Oh.
Chief Leaf, is that right? Chief Leaf? Chief Leaf?
Chief Leaf.
If you are here for the first time, we have something special for you.
For you.
First visit. Welcome. And let's go back. We're going to say hello to everybody. Yep. Hey, John's back. Welcome, John. Good to see you. Megan, good to see you too. Miss Alma's there. All right. Good to see the Mowanis.
This is another one from the old studio.
Yeah.
Hey,
where we
it's
were
Joey's
on top,
World.
we
That's
were on the
right.
second floor.
Everybody knows Joey.
Right?
Mickey's spirit animal. Good evening. Hey, it looks like you might be here for the first time too. So
You can take it back there. Yay!
Welcome, Mickey Spirit Animal. Thanks for joining
Emma's
us
hair
tonight.
was longer.
We have a special interview tonight. Yep, Chief Leaf, that's right. I can't wait for this. Yeah, this one is a good one. Oh, and Chris is watching too. Hey, Chris, good to see you. And we're going through Miss Chantal. There you are. Good to see you.
Oh, it's Joey.
Yeah, all right. Well, we do. We have a fun one tonight. We have an interview with.
Look at Corless. So don't you need your milk today?
That's right. And we reached out to him, his assistant Melissa, who was awesome helping us organize this, right? Helped us coordinate it, and
she's probably much younger.
It was a lot of fun. You're going to see. It was a lot of fun. He is a really good guy. He knows a ton about Disney, of course, and at the same time, he's also a big collector. So we asked some questions about that, and we asked some questions about what he thinks about the future of the parks.
He goes to, because he really brings back some really unique things when he goes visits the other parks.
Hey, I love that. It's a virtual hug. Thanks. See, Emma needs that. She deserves that good hug. Huh?
We're gonna hug you.
Beverly Beth Smith. Hey, are you new too? Because if you are, you get a first visit button.
When she was at East Elementary.
Thanks for joining us tonight.
Miss Smith, yes.
Her name
That's right. Thank you all for coming tonight. It means a lot. It
Beverly.
does.
Her maiden name is Beverly Beth Smith. Yes.
Big follower WW. We are too.
Yeah.
We watch every Thursday night, and we watch all the news updates.
How I go by Melissa.
And I've really enjoyed it.
Oh,
Hey.
yeah, that's the new subscriber I got earlier.
That's right. So you're visiting for the first time. Welcome, Joseph.
Thank
you for being here.
To be Cormier.
That's
If he's from
exactly
Louisiana, it's probably
And Annie, Uncle Kevin, and Grace are watching as well. Oh, Emma was in my fifth grade class. Somebody that knows Emma.
For when she was younger.
That's what it is, Miss Beverly Beth Smith. That was your old teacher.
I was going to my team.
Isn't that something?
I know.
Look at that. Look at she's thinking. The wheels are turning.
Years ago, you were in fifth grade.
Yeah, here's Emma's links. They're in the chat. And y'all are making this mama so happy. Yes. That is Emma's mom. And she is happy y'all are here, and we are too. So, guys, I guess if you would indulge a little bit, Emma would always like, Miss Smith from East.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
There you
She's the
go.
one who gave me her small picture. Including that Pokemon that go with the Pikachu on there.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, my gosh. Boy, does she remember some details, huh?
Yeah,
I wonder why she knows.
Oriented memory, which is wonderful.
Well, we moved a few times, but it's in your brain, right?
Oh, awesome, Dennis.
I imagine it is.
I can look in the old drawer. The one that y'all got away with the double bed
Look at your daddy surprised at that.
Oh, I don't think so. I'm sure we would have packed everything, but that's okay. I think we want to take a couple minutes. You want to thank your sponsors. All right, guys, we're going to put Emma's voiceover intro. This was the first intro she's done. So if y'all would indulge us just a minute, we're going to play that real fast to thank Emma's supporters. And then we're going to be right back with the interview. Ready? All righty, let's go.
Thank you, Raymar, for your support of the Talking Mickey project. Visit Raymar at 255 East Classy Road here in San Antonio, or schedule your photo at Raymar.com. For the trip by Cricket Langford is our Rickle Disney organized vacation planner. Email cricket at cricket.langford@crickettrip.com or visit facebook.com with a Langford. The Beyond Disability Texas podcast was created to help families in Texas to find resources for their special needs family members. You can also join the Beyond Disability Texas Facebook group. Look for our supporters link in the video description and at talkingmickey.com. Thank you, everyone, for supporting the Talking Mickey project.
Okay, here we go.
And we're back.
Look, here the end, you guys.
All right, y'all ready? Well, how do we do it? We start interviews how for all the new people. What do we say? I say, "Are you ready to start, Emma?" And you say, "Yes."
Look,
And I say, "Okay, then bippity boppity."
welcome, Mr. Cole. Could we go where we go to your news tonight?
That's right. And news today. Emma's a little nervous, I think.
Okay.
She's been sitting with me for a few minutes now. She's nervous about meeting you. But
Yeah.
Well, don't be nervous. Thank you for having me.
we had one quick thing. We're going to show you a photo from a while back.
Oh,
where
this is
you
funny.
actually met Emma at the 30th of
Hey.
Epcot.
Oh, that's so.
So it's a throwback here. Let me show you this picture.
Watch.
I remember that.
Yeah. This was at the Land Pavilion. And she got your autograph, and she still has that. So it's been a few years, but
Yeah, just a few.
Thank you.
but she's been a fan for a long time. So thank you again for doing this. Are you ready
Thanks
to
for
rock on your questions?
Yeah, sure.
All right, let's go. Number one.
When did you become a Disney fan?
Thank you, Mary.
I was pretty
Oh,
much
wait,
born a fan. I had to be born a fan because my parents and my cousin were already visiting Disney World before I was born. So I think my mother visited at least once while she was pregnant, and then I was only a couple months old the first time they took me. So I didn't have a choice. So this is anytime my parents get upset about the life choices I made, I'm just like, well, you're the ones who were going before I was even born.
So he was born a fan even before he was born. Huh? That's pretty cool. Emma's been a fan. Her first trip there was when she was 4. So it's been all uphill and downhill and back and forth since then. But it's been great. She's been probably a couple dozen times to Disney World, and we've been once to Disneyland. So hopefully we'll get back there as well soon. But you ready for number 2? All right.
Okay, number 2. What made you want to create your own website and YouTube channel?
So I was pretty active in the community when I was younger. I mean, in my teenage years, and particularly on WDW Magic back in the day, which I think everyone at some point in their fandom was probably active on there. And maybe not the younger people. I don't even know. I'm too old now. But back then, I was a pretty active community, but news from the parks didn't come in very often. I'd say 2 or 3 times a week you'd get some tidbits of news. People weren't going every day. It wasn't what it is now. And I felt like every time I visited the parks, I felt like it was clear every day that things were happening. And so I thought we should start a website where every day we do some sort of update. And back then I was like, well, surely there has to be something every day. Like something has to be painted, or some piece of merchandise has to come out, or some piece of food has to debut somewhere where there'd be at least enough for one story a day. And now here we are in 2021, and the website will post anywhere from 25 to 40 something stories a day. So things have changed. Things have changed a lot in the last 14 years.
Well, and I mean, to me, it's interesting what's interesting to people now, because really a lot of things, whether it's if you're in the food side or you're in the attraction side or the music, there's always something in your area of interest, and it could be the smallest thing that people cue in on. We followed the whole issue, I guess, recently with Ohana and the noodles. Yeah. And it's like that created such a big uproar. And it's like, man, don't take away what's close to people's hearts. And you never know sometimes what that is.
Yeah, it's Disney World, and it's a place that a lot of people go when they're very young and develop a very strong emotional connection. And these things are there for 10, 15, 20, or sometimes many more years. Yeah. So obviously people build a lifetime of memories with, whether it's the Great Movie Ride or a bowl of noodles, whatever it might be, people have an emotional connection.
That's true. You ready for number 3?
Yeah.
All right.
When did you decide to do it a full-time And how did your friends and family react?
The first year or so, I think my mother asked me several times, "What are you doing? Like, how are you paying your bills?" And that went on for like a year and a half, where
Well,
I think
remember
they
one of the
just,
interviews we
I think,
watched a
believed,
couple
not
weeks
because they
ago?
didn't
It was like
believe
the
in me,
first one,
or
what
I
did your
just
friends
think,
and
when
family
you
say?
come
And he
from
said
that
his friends
generation,
were
I
no
think it's
longer
hard to
his
fathom
friends,
that
you
your
know,
son could
because
start
he
a big
did it,
company
and he had
that
full
literally
support
just
of his
reports on
family.
theme parks every day.
Yeah.
And you couldn't. If I was born in the 1950s, there's no way I would understand how any of that works. I would never be able to wrap my head around that. And so it took them a while, and then eventually I think they got it. I think once they came to a couple of the bigger events, and saw how many people worked for the company, there was a point at which I think finally my mother and father were like, "Oh, clearly this does very well, enough where several people, this is their living, not just my son."
Yes, we did
So
do the great movie
this
ride
seems to be,
several
but
times.
obviously
when
everyone
we
was
would
very
visit
happy for me, and my
studios.
parents
When they
I think
did
very
have
proud
the
now. But I think
never
a
DVD
strong concern
talking
for the first year and a half after I went full time.
everything
Oh, one of the things with Emma doing this channel, she started this last year, the year in this month coming up, I guess, because we're in August, right?
Emma's tapping her foot
and
and nodding her head
my
while she's
parents,
thinking, because
we're
I don't
saying,
know what
well,
she's
how are
talking
you going to
about.
spend all this
I
time
will
on this?
tell
What do
y'all
you think
and
you?
help her, but
And
I
it
have
was
no
a
idea
similar
what she's
thing.
talking
I
about.
think they understand, that we like to go, that we've gone a lot to Disney World, and that we're fans of that and all as a family. But I think what they've come to learn is that there's this community out there that supports one another, and it's not just what you're interested in, it's being part of that kind of fandom thing.
Okay.
And that's helped. I think that's helped Emma to do what she's doing and to have the confidence, because she's sometimes a little shy with things. So. All right, you ready for number 4? What's
No
that?
clue, guys.
Your nose itches? Okay, I don't know what that means. Number 4. All right, there you go.
With WNTV Go successful, how have your job and your channel changed over the time?
It's past that. Let's move on.
Well, the biggest change would be where I'm sitting now. This is our we have an office and studio complex in Celebration. So this is, if you had told me 14 years ago, when I was, I grew up in Bronx, New York. We didn't have a very big house because it's the Bronx. They're all the houses are on top of each other. You can live in a house, and we had such limited space that the computer in the house was not even set up in my room. It was in the dining room, which was directly next to the living room. I basically sat behind the television, so that the TV was on a corner in the living room, and then I sat. The desk is in the corner of the dining room, just shoved in there with the computer on it, and I just worked from there for everything we did for the first several years. So to go from that to having an office where people come in here, and obviously on Thursdays we have a live studio audience and do a show with all this professional production equipment. Not that we know how to use it or the show is very professional, but
in 2021,
the
we
equipment
thought that there would be time for you and
that's a
Daddy
big
to go
change from
over to the studio,
doing something in your
when
dining room
and what our day
when you're
was
18
gonna be
years
like
old.
the
That's
following
a
day.
big adjustment.
Y'all just didn't make it to their.
Has it changed how
their
you
live show.
do what you do from your
Show.
fan perspective? I mean, are you as engaged as someone who goes and enjoys the parks, or are you doing it more from the business standpoint?
I think as far as Disney World, most visits are probably work related, unless my parents come visit, or the occasional dinner or something. But then when I do get to travel, not that you've been able to really travel for the last year and a half, but it's kind of more of a vacation and more of I get to be more of just a fan again when I go to Disneyland or Japan or Paris or wherever, which is nice. But every like once a month I find it at least
I think that's
a full
a
park
bucket
day to
list,
go here and just
Tokyo Disneyland.
Try to be a normal person again. But then of course in the process of being there today, like I've been there a lot in my life, and I notice things.
Don't worry about it.
Inevitably the phone comes out and I'm writing to the editor like, hey, I noticed this new thing, we might want to run this, or people might be interested in this. So anytime anything I try to do not for work eventually just turns into work. You're there and you see something, you're like, well, I got to send that.
Well, if you say they say, yeah, if you do what you love, right? It's not a job. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's why I don't. It's never a bother, right? Like, I mean, certainly what we do is work, and we work very hard, but we do really enjoy it. So it's never like, oh, I'm not gonna today. I'm just the phone staying in the pocket, not gonna send anything in. That doesn't happen. Even for a lot of the other people that work here, the reporters and stuff, like even on their day off, if they're in the parks, they'll send stuff in just because I think they always seem to care.
Well, that's good.
It's not like second nature, even though you're
all right. You ready for
a Disney
number 5?
fan, because you almost have to be a Disney fan first.
If
If you're going to do something like what we're doing, fixing your ears, your bow.
What is it like planning and hosting a show like that?
Well, thank you. I'm glad you guys are the two that watch it. Right?
and my wife.
Three. We're up to 3. That's big. So that show takes up a majority of the work we do in a week, at least in this building. So my assistant and myself, that's it's got to be more than half of our work week. And in fact, the calendar that's up behind me is like the show calendar, kind of like a lot of weekly shows do. There's a list of whatever segments we're going to do or ideas or whatever like that. So that's right behind my desk. The biggest work board in the office is related to News Tonight. So we start pretty much from the day after the show on Friday. I'll start kicking stuff over to Tyler, who's our graphic design guy and does a lot of the video segments. And I'll start sending him a couple of the bits that we know we're going to do.
Skipper
and then Eric and Guy and myself will start writing monologue jokes probably around Monday. So between Monday and Thursday, that'll all get written.
After we came back from Disneyland.
While that's going on, Nick and Eric Wolf will be putting a game together typically on most weeks.
Figured out the StreamYard stuff from doing
what else? We have we just had a production manager just started. We have a whole production crew now, which is a new thing for us. So we have Jake, who runs the production. We have 2 camera people and an audio engineer who come in on Wednesday. The other new thing we started doing is Wednesday is rehearsal. So we actually, after 14 years of joking about how we should rehearse, we decided we should start. So on Wednesday nights, whoever's on the show that week and the whole production crew come in, and we do sort of a run through of the show as best we can.
Look at that yellow background.
Thursday is show day. We open the doors at 8:30 to the public, and 9 o'clock we're on the air.
That's a lot of work, and I'm sure because you got to keep everything timely, you're rewriting stuff right until probably it goes live.
Yeah, because a big part of it is it is a live show, and I want it to feel live, and I don't know what feels more live than being able to respond to if news broke at 6 p.m. on Thursday.
Yeah. Exactly.
So I remember some instances where I think they announced one of the 1,500 returns of the electrical parade. They announced one like right before the show one week, and I remember us writing jokes in like 20 minutes before air that week, or the week that the Jungle Cruise boat sank. Was Thursday, and I remember quickly messaging people because we wanted to do a parody commercial because we have fake ambulance chasing lawyers. Who started with the unplanned downtime on the Skyliner, and we named them the law offices of Gon and Dola. So we figured if anyone's gonna get involved, if a Jungle Cruise boat sank, it would be the law offices of Gon and Dola. So
I remember that.
Within just a few hours, we had to write and produce and edit that commercial because we wanted people to tune in that night and be like, "Wow, like that happened today," and they've already. Things are funniest when they've just happened, right? The jokes are always funnier when they're immediately after the event. Otherwise, it wears off.
Well,
the one that had us cracking up, and Emma as well.
Told a joke about
and it was, I guess, probably a couple of weeks ago now, was the PSA on vaccination.
You mean the law?
I don't know who had that idea, but that was brilliant.
So that was, I don't write them all. I'm not going to take credit for all of them. That one was me because I kept seeing, I was watching YouTube, and every couple of videos, I get some sort of different vaccine PSA, and then I watch a couple of live sporting events I watched or things. People doing them, and I was like, "Oh, we should do that." But what's like a fun way to do it? Like we can't just do it straight. I don't know. I don't want to just
Yeah,
advocate for the
nothing
vaccine. I also
Corless.
want it to be
Okay.
clever and funny.
Read
And
Oh,
so
yeah.
we thought about it.
Hold
And
it
I was
up
like,
and read
well, yeah, I mean, a world where COVID is defeated is a world where we could have entertainment back and we could have, the parks could be more normal again, right? And
That's
so
right.
the funny spin on that is like, well, that would require Disney to spend money. And Bob Chapek has a little bit of a reputation for not liking to spend that money. And so we thought it'd be funny if it was like, I don't care about anything. And it's joke, obviously. I do care about the well-being of people, and luckily people got that, which is
I'm coming
great.
in.
I didn't get
Well, I don't know. Did y'all
No.
count the click-throughs on that
Coming
site,
in.
on that domain? Because we went through it. I was like, I gotta see what's there.
We actually haven't. I could tell you the video it went pretty big on TikTok.
You went
It
into
was
me.
seen by a good amount of people on Facebook. And enough so that
Where'd you go?
several people stopped me that
I
week
see a
specifically about that. Like usually I'll get stopped for I love when you live stream. We watch
Still
News
see a
Today.
shoulder.
The 3 times a week.
Still see
news
you.
show.
I still see you.
But specifically, I got stopped several times
gone.
because people maybe that weren't even people that watched the show said, "Oh, I
Post to
saw the
Emma.
vaccine TSA and that was brilliant.
silly.
Thank you." I think it resonated with people because I think there's still a lot of cast members that didn't come back or entertainment people still waiting for that call. And
I'm still laying on my
people
robe
really seem to like it.
on the couch in
Yeah,
our
that's
bedroom.
so. All right, you ready for number 6?
Number 6.
Okay.
From the go, we know you are a
Oh, this is
serious
when he starts bringing out some of his
collector.
things. This is cool.
That's a smile on me, right? You stopped to smile for a second? Okay.
What are your favorite things to collect?
Favorite things to collect.
To collect.
I like
Yeah.
the good answer would be I like collecting I like the theme park props because they I think they're special. I think anything that guests got to see and brought them joy, there's a specialness to that. But my favorite thing are tchotchkes. So any sort of weird, bizarre thing,
We
the
only did
less
that, what,
functional it is in real
twice?
life, the better.
When we
Like
lived
the more
in-
ridiculous. It just so happens this is sitting on my desk here. I'm going to show this.
Oh,
This
Look at
is
this.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is a hat for a journey to the center of the earth in Japan. This is a hat, by the way. It's a hat of a volcano. And it doesn't serve any real function. It's not really going to protect you from the sun that well or anything. And the fun part is there's a tube that comes out of it. And if you blow in the tube, the volcano erupts. So this is one of my favorite things just because it's clinically insane. It's just completely like, who would buy this? Who wanted it? And I love
Tom
it. So
did,
the more,
obviously.
I want to say some park prop, but the more ridiculous and insane it is, I just love the reaction it gets from people when you show it to them. I love it.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like, why was this made? I can't believe this exists. Those are my favorite.
How many did they sell? That's what I want to know.
We'll
Probably a
never
lot.
know, but I would love it. Yeah, I mean, in Japan, people in Japan gets love.
Oh, yeah.
So you'll see,
And if you're new
especially
here
when they
and you
coordinate
haven't hit
outfits,
subscribe yet,
there are
hit
sort of
that
like
subscribe
groups of
button.
guests. And we know them by name. There's Dalmatian girls, and they'll all have the 101 Dalmatians big plush hat, and then they'll all wear like a black and white
this must be
outfit,
in
and they all
Japan.
match. Then there's there's the ham girls. They all have the big ham from Toy Story plush hat, and everyone somehow is coordinated on these strange pink jumpsuits where if you wore them in America, you'd think like they're part of a cult or something. But there it's less frightening. There's Hank from Finding Dory. You'll find groups with that big octopus hat, and they all have like the red jumpsuits. So they love the ridiculous hats, and they love to all buy them and wear them together when they come to the park. So it's very different there.
We've ordered a few things over the years from, I guess, from eBay, but sourced, I guess, out of Japan because they have more Oswald stuff, and Emma's a fan of Oswald. So we found a few things that way, and they've been a little bit more like the shirts recently and stuff. Right, you have that
Tokyo
button-up shirt.
Disneyland or Disney
But
Sea.
yeah, it's hard to find some things, and their stuff has always seemed like it's more fun. But, all right, you number 7. It's related to this.
And now
one,
that
so.
we're in
All right.
The 100 Years
What
of Wonder.
what
tons of
are
odd
some
stuff
of your favorite things
Oh, no, this is when
in
he
your
throws stuff off.
collection?
Favorite things.
Is
So
it-
one of the things I bought recently, and eventually we're still kind of moving in here. So
Oh,
there
they
is a
were
small
moving into the
museum
new
space here
office
that we're
back
still
then.
setting up,
You
and
probably
I'm really
have
excited
already.
about
Oh,
a
yeah.
couple
Well,
of
yeah,
things in
because we
there.
were
One
watching
thing is we
the
have
shows from it.
one of the shields from the Mr. Toad ride at Disney
Wow.
World that's long gone, and it was in one of the rooms that was, because it was different. Disneyland and Disney World's Mr.
Yeah.
Toad rides
Mhm.
were different, and ours had scenes that were not in California because it was 2 tracks, it was bigger, and one of them was this trophy room, and this big like tribal shield was in there, and I vividly remembered it. It was one of the few things I vividly remembered from that ride as a kid was that trophy room. And so it came up in an auction, and I said, I don't remember a ton from Mr. Toad here, but I
think
specifically
Nico will come in
remember the
anime.
shield. And so I really wanted it, and luckily I won it, and I'm really excited. It's still wrapped in there right now. I'm excited at some point to unwrap it,
Tom
but
has
that's
lots
pretty
of
cool.
things
That,
that
and
are
I
still
also got a
wrapped.
big New Tomorrowland sign
That's about my time.
Oh,
from
yeah.
1994. It was on the construction walls when they built New Tomorrowland, and that's like a big hallmark of my childhood was that New Tomorrowland. Like I vividly remember them building it, and then I'll never forget the first time we saw Timekeeper, or the first time we went an
How
alien
long Emma's
encounter.
hair
Like
is
that
in this
sticks with. I just remember
2 years ago.
looking down
Yeah,
that
what's
main
the
boulevard
thing,
and just
man?
being blown
Oh, yeah,
away, especially
Your
at
head is
night.
much
All the
shorter
neon
now.
and the Astro Orbiter back then, all the planets actually spun. And it
I
was just
remember
this really cool, amazing. And there was the robot newspaper guy, and
Mhm.
I just love that so
Danny
much.
and I
So to have
remember
that
that.
sign, it's really cool. I love that. I
I
love that Tomorrowland.
outside.
That's cool.
Wait, isn't that
Waterland,
newspaper like still over?
I don't know if the newspaper guy's still there or not. I don't remember.
No,
seeing
he
that.
got ripped out like a year or two ago.
Oh,
They took out him, and there was also a phone booth.
Yeah.
And you'd hit the buttons on the phone booth, and the fun thing was like the hold music was best time of your life from Carousel of Progress,
Yeah.
and then you call all sorts of weird aliens, and
That's
and
right, Mike. Short hair.
it was
red
just really
shampoo.
fun. It was really, really fun.
When we went the first time, we stayed at the Contemporary, and we went mostly to the Magic Kingdom. We were only there for a long weekend. And being 4, I think we rode the Winnie the Pooh ride 1,000 times. And one of the things we got her recently, we found somebody made on Etsy, was a deed to Toad Hall. That's copies of the one that's that's out there now.
Yeah,
it's on the wall. It's okay. Yeah, it's back there above her head with a little seal on it.
Okay.
But they put her name on it, on Etsy. So
love
it was really
Emma's
cool. And
hair.
that's a memory for me as well as for her.
Yeah, that's the thing I always tell people about this stuff is you shouldn't. And people on my staff are gonna watch and be like, "You buy everything," but it should mean something to you. It should. Those are the best things you own, is if they
That's a good
spark a
idea.
personal memory.
Yeah.
And
Don't
so
buy
like
it
like
just
that
to
Toad
have
sign
it, but
sparks a
buy
personal
something that
memory. The
means
Tomorrowland
something
sign
to you.
sparks a lot of memories.
Like you like
so
the
yeah,
Animal
that's always the
Kingdom
best
stuff.
stuff. Where it's not
Because
about
yes,
a
it
monetary
opened in April
value
of
or even how much other people
Like
react to it. It's
birthday.
really
1998,
what it means
but
for
that's
you.
the same
It
month
does.
and year you were born.
All right, you ready for the break?
I think
Okay.
What are you looking forward to the most about the 50th
I like
anniversary
when you
of
try to
Walt
correct Daddy
Disney
and I's
World?
grammar
I
while you're
know.
doing the live podcast.
Probably just like I'm excited about the new
About the 50th
fireworks
anniversary
and
of
those
Walt
things,
Disney
but I think in particular with the 50th, I think what I'm
Look at
most
Bridget,
excited for is
see?
just that
Tom's worse than
actual
us
weekend,
with shopping.
that actual first weekend. I think October 1st, park anniversaries are so special. And even like the less important ones. I just remember like we met at Epcot 30. Like that's a memorable day for me. All those Epcot anniversaries are really memorable. In a Magic Kingdom, like 40th and 45th, which obviously are not near as significant as a 50th. So I feel like, all these years of my fandom kind of been leading up to this moment where it'll be this great day we all get to share in. I think that'll be a really special day. And then
later on
we're doing our event on the
we were
2nd and
watching all the
3rd,
different vlogs and
which
how
I think for a lot of reasons, especially after the
disappointed
year and a half that
guests
everyone
were
just had,
what was being done for the
I think is going to be
50th.
really, we have a really special opportunity
that
because
was
so
the
much of the
25th.
entertainment
Oh, you're
at the
talking about
parks hasn't
on the
come back.
castle.
Yeah.
The ability to have
Yeah,
an event
but
with
you
so
got-
many
you
of
got-
those
it
faces
grew
that
on you after a while.
I think we're very sad that they weren't going to get called back in time for the 50th. And so for them to get the chance to be in a room with all those lifelong guests and do those characters and those skits and play that music that they've performed for people all these years, I think that'll be really great.
Well, we unfortunately will not be there for that. We're going to be traveling. We're planning to be there in December, and we actually arrive on a Thursday night. So I'm trying to convince
with
my wife and the rest of us that are traveling with another couple
other Disney
to be there for one of your shows, because that would be our opportunity.
That'd be great.
But that would be kind of cool. So, all right, you ready for number 9? All right, it's kind of the parallel pair, I guess, or whatever to one. Just generally speaking.
I try to be positive, but then Overton will always ask me something like this.
Well, we were trying to figure that out ourselves. It's like, what is it that we're thinking is going to be? You know, and part of it is that I was thinking personally, and seeing what they've announced, that I was thinking there was going to be more. I mean, it's the 50th, right?
Yeah.
So you think like at the 100th, it's going to be amazing, right? So I was thinking at the 50th, it would be crazy. And I understand with all the pandemic stuff and all that, it's going to be a little different, but I'm a little bit disappointed, and I'm hoping they're going to pull some stuff out at the last minute and just surprise everybody.
And turns out,
I don't know.
My friend Oswald got in the car.
Oswald, the other thing that Emma wants, if you know anybody that has any pull, she would love to see the Hatbox Ghost in Haunted Mansion. In that
I thought for sure we were going to get that. That was one of those things where I was like, oh, that'd be a nice little thing to do. I think COVID took
3 years.
a lot away.
3 years.
I think, obviously we're supposed to have Tron. We're supposed to have Guardians of the Galaxy. We might have had the Play Pavilion. We would have had a lot more new to do. But again, there's that wording that they keep using where Remy's Ratatouille Adventure is listed as a opening season edition of the 50th anniversary. So if you're breaking the anniversary into seasons, that would indicate that you have different things to debut throughout the seasons of the event.
Yeah.
So so maybe we get Guardians of the Galaxy in the second season. Maybe in the third season you get Tron. So maybe as it goes on, we get more of what we would have gotten. I think in the end we still lost some things though. Like I think they wanted to add
a lot of those things really didn't come
that
to
explosion
fruition
ending to Our Big Thunder.
Last
They
year,
had character
2022,
Small World,
Tron,
which you're still seeing them go through with
Guardians.
all the other stuff they were going to do in that Small World refurbishment. They painted the outside. Now they're painting the clock tower. So they did everything else except they had the characters. So obviously that became a casualty of the budgets given the closure. But
you mind if I ask one more? This is kind of related to that. We're talking about this the other day here at home. Was with all the movement of the couple thousand people out of Southern California. I've always thought that Disneyland got some of the better versions of some of the rides, especially after we visited, because they're local to where the Imagineers are and everything. Do you think that'll change when they move to Florida?
No, I think that's more a product of the audience, right? I think the parks are more a product of the audience where they're located. Disneyland's a local crowd, and Disney World is a lot of tourists. And I think when you're locals and you visit more, the bar is higher. And when it's a tourist destination, I think in some cases the bar is lower. That doesn't correlate with everything, right? I think Disney World, the hotels are unmatched, right? That's what we do better than any Disney resort in the world is those hotels. But then at Disneyland, like the hotels are not as good and they're a little overpriced, but then the parks are really, really fantastic and full of a lot of great stuff. I think they're all a product of where they are and who goes there.
I think we were reluctantly agreed that some of the better versions are in California. I all my life grown up in Disney World and visiting there, and when we went to Disneyland, it's like, okay, Pirates is better. Okay, the Mansion's better. Okay, but it was fun nonetheless. And I guess our home where you grew up, right, and visiting is Disney World. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a smoother ride.
All right, you ready for number 10?
And the music different though. What makes you excited about the future of the Disney park?
I'm excited to go back to several of the ones that I, as Americans, we're not allowed to visit yet. It'll be nice to go. So the last couple of weeks have been fun because we got to go to. Luckily, we went to Paris before the health pass thing started.
Yeah.
Now you can't get in. Even if you are vaccinated or whatever, doesn't matter. So it was great to go to Paris and be there for their reopening. That was, that's a memory I'll carry with me the rest of my life.
Yes, it's one of those.
And then it was great to go back to Disneyland. We went for the anniversary weekend. That was special. So I look forward to everyone being able to travel the world again and be able to go to whichever Disney park you want to go to, whether it's Disney World or wherever. I'm excited for people to be able to get back to these places and then to get back. I'm excited for us to just get back into normal in the months and years ahead, and the focus not to be on are masks necessary indoors this week? Are they not? Or what are we rolling? What rules are we rolling forward? What are we rolling back? I'm excited for that era to end. Hopefully sooner rather than later, and just get back to talking about the fun stuff, which is new food and new merchandise and new rides, and that's what I'm excited for. Just the business to get back to what it was before all that.
All right, you ready? All right, number 11.
What makes you excited about the future of WWNT?
I think this is still very new. We only moved in here in July 8th was the first show here. And so we're still moving in. So this is still very exciting. And I'm excited what this location will be for us for the next several years. Having people come in when we have the museum set up and they're able to see that and come see a show and have various events in there in the studio. And also, the other really cool thing is, I think something great that came out of COVID is that the world has made it easier for you to stream events to others.
Yeah.
And so, what's great is that this is the first time we're doing an event where you don't have to be here in person. Like, we're going to sell a digital ticket, and so people, it doesn't matter where you are. You be a part. So I'm excited about that because I think there's so many events we've done in the past where people later are like, I really wish I could have seen that. And I wish, like, when we had all the entire creative team for Illuminations together on the last day of the show, I wish there would have been the ability to in a way that works, have streamed that whole day of events, but just we weren't there yet. So I'm excited that we have a lot of great talent in this company and a lot of passionate people, and we're going to be doing a lot of really big things that I think the public will benefit from. I'm excited to be able to share more with them and do more, do bigger and cooler and more adventurous stuff than, because it's fun to do live streaming and do news shows, but I love when we do just weird, wacky, and wild stuff like News Tonight, or then these events where we just have a whole weekend of talking to people who built these places and worked at them and made them what they are. Like that's the stuff not that I don't love the news, and I love to bring people the news, but that's my favorite part of the job.
That's cool.
Mark.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, the next three questions are just for fun questions. Are you ready? Emma's excited about these.
Okay.
All right.
If you could visit only one theme park in the future, which one would it be?
Here's the one where I make everyone mad. Tokyo Disney Sea. That park is, I think it's the full realization of Walt's dream. I think it is the perfected vision of what the art form is. I think it's the attractions are tell these elaborate stories brilliantly. They're jaw-dropping.
Yeah, that's right.
The vistas in that park are just some of the most beautiful in the world, and they're all man-made, which is incredible. It's just incredible what they did there, and the ability over the last 20 years to grow that park and not lose the theme. Because we know, like, there's been a lot of really great Disney theme parks through history. Epcot Center, one of them, but a lot of them don't age well. Sometimes they lose that vision, and it's very hard to find an identity later. I think Epcot and Hollywood Studios specifically are kind of lost. They don't know what they are. It doesn't mean there's not great stuff in them, but they're not coherent, and they're not what they fully could be. And I think Disney Sea has done such a good job in 20 years of starting off as this amazing thing and then continuing to just build on that. And now they have talking about things excited for in the future. That Fantasy Springs expansion is just all the models and everything just look unbelievable. And when you talk to people in Imagineering, like they're not talking about anything else on that upcoming slate except fantasy. Anyone who's working on Fantasy Springs is just really excited about it. So it's going to be great.
Tokyo is definitely on our bucket list. Definitely on ours, right?
Yeah, Japan is Tokyo, Disneyland, and Disney are definitely on our bucket list.
Yeah, for Lou.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, she talked to Lou, and that was his favorite park as well.
I think anyone who's been to that park, it's probably
that's what it sounds like. It makes an impression. Is it a function of I mean, maybe this is an obvious question, but is it a function of the investment of Oriental Land Company, or is it the people in Imagineering maybe that are working on it versus the ones that are working elsewhere? Or
no, I don't think it's a reflection on talent. I think sometimes I know Michael Eisner would say that he felt that putting a budgetary box on Imagineers forced them to be more creative. But I mean, there's something to say for unbridled creativity, right? And so I think it's a combination of everything. I think just Japanese sensibility is when you do something, you do it to the best of your ability, and you try to meet the expectations of your customer. And they had certain expectation levels. And so Oriental Land Company felt the need to spend an ungodly amount of money and build that place. And then the Imagineers were told, like, do this to the best of your ability. Money is almost no object. Changed. And I think it was one of the few times in history that's, I mean, Walt didn't even have that luxury. Walt, had to scrape and borrow and beg and everything he could to open Disneyland in 1955. So and I mean, Epcot Center similar, right? Like they spent a tremendous amount of money on that park too. So like Epcot Center and Disney Sea, I think in their truest form are the two most special parks they've ever built.
Yeah, I'm thankful I'm old enough to have gone. I think I went the first time to Epcot in '82. So I remember seeing what was there then.
When it opened?
Well, it opened in 81, I think, right? Was it 81?
October 82.
82. Okay, well, then I saw it in the beginning. Yeah. For some reason, I had 81 in my brain. We just did a trivia about it.
In 2012.
Okay, that's me again.
30th, and that's where we got that picture.
Yes, I remember Horizons.
At the Land Pavilion.
All right, you ready? Let's move on before we get sidetracked.
What up my part, though?
Oh, well, what's your favorite? Real quick.
Animal Kingdom.
Oh, here we go. Emma's favorite is Animal Kingdom because it opened the month she was born.
Okay.
Huh?
Same year.
Same year, yes. And she's got a tie to that. And we did go there when you were 4. Spent a couple of days in Magic Kingdom and one, I think, in Africa. All right. Number 13 is the next fun one, right?
If you could live in any theme park, resort, hotel, which one would it be?
I would bet I have one that most people won't say. Old Key West. Maybe I'm just an old soul and I'm ready for retirement. Because that's what I mean. It's a Key West. Yeah, it doesn't have that. I don't know. It's just so. Sure. It's like all the cast members there. I think because the people they interact with are like hardcore, lifelong Disney people, the people that own and stay at Old Key West. And I think because of that, the cast members are just always in a great mood and always really delightful. And then the other guests there are usually really nice. And then the vibe there is just so relaxed. It's like the most relaxing feeling of any of the Disney hotels.
I'm reading some of these
in the world. It's not the fanciest. It's not the biggest. It doesn't have like a monorail going through it. Any of those things.
I know.
But it's
We haven't
just-
done
it's
Flight
just-
of Passage.
It feels like
But
you're somewhere else, even though
Emma
it's somewhere else not far from where
Has never
actually
liked
is
itself to
located.
be a boat.
But
Yeah.
just like the
Absolutely.
colors and the other thing is
Yes.
architecturally, like I
The
love
chest, the
that they're
bug
just these
running
little
under
buildings and
you.
each one's like a
It
different height
creeps
and
her
it
out.
varies. It doesn't feel like a hotel. And I think that makes it feel special. I like those older vacation club hotels where they just don't feel like Riviera and Grandisino Tower, just hotel buildings, right? Like it doesn't have that specialness. But Old Key West, this sprawling community, almost like its own little city. And Olivia's is a really great restaurant, and Gurgling Suitcase is a really great little bar, and the pool is cute.
Everybody else must be
And
really
I
paying
love Old
attention
Key
to
West.
the interview because they're not
We've never
chatting
even
a
thought
whole
about
lot.
staying there.
Yeah.
That might be something we
But
could look
they're
at one
there.
day, huh?
That's cool. That's cool.
It was the first DVC, I think. Was it the first
Yeah.
one? I believe?
Yeah, in fact, it was originally just called the Disney Vacation Club Resort.
Till they built number 2, I guess, and they had to change the name.
They're like, oh no, we have more.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right, number 14.
If you could build any attraction in your backyard, which one would it be?
Well, I don't have a backyard,
Oh, that's why.
but if I had a backyard, and it was very big, very very big, probably. I like the Sinbad ride from Tokyo, Sinbad's Storybook
Oh.
Voyage, just because it.
Yeah,
If we're talking about attractions, it's still alive. That one reminds me so much of
Yeah, we're
the
definitely
older
there for it.
Disney attractions, the classics, right? These long, dark rides. Like
Yeah.
it reminds me of Pirates and the old Journey to
If
Imagination.
Jones had put, I think
A lot
every
of the
backyard
Epcot
needs a
dark
Dole
rides, in
Whip
fact,
stand.
where they're just these really long musical journeys where you're just immersed in a place for like 15 minutes. And I think that's such a lost art form because every ride now is like 4 or 5 minutes.
That's one of the
Not that
doesn't
doesn't make an attraction bad, but I just always feel like my favorite rides
I
are the
don't
ones
know
where you
who
really just
really
get
admire-
lost
No.
for a good long while in a different place. Those are my
good
favorite.
one.
WDWN too.
Kind of like going on vacation. Like the
cool.
first couple of days, you're just unwinding. And if you had longer, you could enjoy it more. Maybe maybe that's a parallel, right?
Yeah, you feel as soon as you start to enjoy it, like the ride is over. Web slingers, I was like, oh, I finally learned how to do this, and then they're like, the ride's over. I just learned how to, but I just figured this out.
Oh gosh, that's cool.
That wasn't actually the first one, actually.
What was the first one? What do you mean? The type of ride?
Yeah.
What do you think the first one was?
Apparently in Niagara Falls, there was a marble area.
In Niagara Falls?
Where
are you getting-
Yeah, go back and
Where are you
read all
getting
the
this
old
from?
comments.
The
the chat?
theme park.
Oh, Expedition Theme Park. Okay, she watches a lot of YouTube documentary stuff. She loves the facts.
Right.
All righty, you ready for the last question?
Oh, last
right.
question.
What advice do you have for a newer YouTuber like me?
I know.
Sorry.
She's a ham. She needs a ham act. She really does.
Who doesn't
It kind of looks like a ham.
Can I blow up the volcano?
No, you can't. Come on. Read your question.
Oh, I did.
Oh, okay. So you want to do it again real quick?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I got all women to go.
Yes, good.
Okay, thank you, sir. What advice do you have for a newer YouTuber?
Okay, now she's gonna. Who doesn't live near the theme parks, near the Disney parks, right?
Oh,
Okay,
gosh.
all right. Let's let Mr. Tom
Okay.
answer before you crack up.
Oh, no, I didn't
She
think
does
that.
this on her other stuff. She gets these giggles, and it's too late.
What is not anything?
Okay, well, let's let Mr. Tom answer.
Okay.
No, not there.
So fun fact about me is I didn't live
Mommy hit the button.
near the parks
no, not the button
until
on the bottom.
I
He's
know.
so
when did I move here?
silly.
2013. So we started, WWNT started in 2007.
Okay.
And then, so several years before I lived near the parks. So obviously, like there's a disadvantage, right? As a YouTuber, like it's harder to get actual park content when you're not here. But There's also, I think it gives you a lot of opportunity to be very different from what everyone else is doing. And so the things to do are to figure out what you like to do, what kind of stuff you want to make, and then figure out how to make it different and interesting and different from what everyone else is doing. And then the other key is you got to keep at it for a long time. No one's an overnight success. So we started in 2007. We never, the WDWNT as a company never made a profit until like 2015. So it was, it's a long grind to get there. And I know there's people that, especially in the realm of YouTube, there's people that have gotten there faster, but I think they still put in a couple years of work. And some people it'll happen faster, and some people slower.
And you just now,
you gotta keep working at it. You just keep changing things. You see what works, what doesn't, and just keep going for it.
No, Mickey Mouse like.
Can I ask one
Mickey
follow-up on that? This is more, I guess, for Emma, but one of the things that she's concerned about is that people are going to comment, say something negative about what she's doing. She's very sensitive to that. But what I've told her is that it's going to happen eventually. It hasn't happened yet, but eventually it will. Do you have any advice for her on that? Well, you've been doing it a long time.
If you're going to ask anyone this question, Tom Corless is probably the best one. Inevitably, people are going to say mean things. It's
You've been
the
lucky.
internet.
Nobody said mean
people
things to you.
people can be terrible. And the things you have to remember are there are a lot of really good people too who, when you're down or you don't feel good about yourself or good about what you're doing, that are very supportive. So it goes, it's a two-sided coin. There's good people and there's bad people.
Everybody who's in the chat right now, everybody.
My number one thing that I've learned, which it took me a long time to learn, was it's probably best to not engage. It's best to ignore it. People give you that advice for a long time. It took me a long time to actually take that advice from people. So I was like, yeah, it's easy for you to say. No one's saying it about you. But in the end, I think those people are right. I think it's best to ignore it and worry about the people that like what you're doing and the people that support you and the people you work with. Worry about those people and just ignore people that say
about me and your dad
mean things. Because I think if people say those mean things, if people feel the need to search out people on the internet and try to make them feel less than they are, those people are probably feeling a lot worse about themselves than you are. And you should probably just let that go.
That's good advice. All right. Well, you're done. You've asked all your questions. You want to say thank you and we can wrap it up?
Thank you, Mr. Tom Corless, for going you do tonight for coming on my show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Did you stop it? There you go.
Am I not?
Well, we're back. So what do y'all think?
Yeah, what do y'all
We have a
think of
very-
that? You trying to stop it?
I was looking behind us. Everything's very pink.
Still going.
It matches your shirt. Emma has her
Take it
spirit
over here.
jersey on tonight from Disneyland that we got at the outlets. You want to show? Oh, Earth.
Look at those curls. Look at those highlights. Look at Daddy's face. All right, come on. Make us bigger. Make us bigger.
Okay.
Make us bigger. There we are. So, how'd you like that? That replay of the Tom Corless interview, Emma's reaction, Emma and I talking over it. What? What?
That is great.
Where you froze him?
Yeah.
Okay. This girl, I swear.
No.
So,
No.
what do we have coming up? So we just had Tom Corless this Wednesday. This Saturday is our trivia?
Cars.
Life is a highway.
That might be one of them. That might be one of them.
Well, since I'm the one that does the questions, it may not be one of them.
Yeah, you might be.
It could be, but it might be another question about it. It might not be the song. It might be something about the song.
Like where you're from.
Now, that might be one of the questions, you little turkey.
Wow.
So Saturday night is trivia about The whole
Cars.
Cars franchise.
Yeah, 1 through 3. Maybe the video game.
No, I'm not doing the video game. I never played the video game. So
I
I'm not doing it.
have off of
Well, then
PlayStation
help
2.
me do the version. Anyway, next Wednesday, we'll have Emma's reaction summer series continuing with
Mr. Ryan Snyder.
AKA the
The original
original
Dreamfinder.
Dream Finder. That's right. That's right.
Are you feeling good out there, Mr. Ryan?
And then the following Saturday will be Nemo.
Yeah.
Oh, look how cute that is. Look how cute. Skipper Dad put,
A scuba diving mask.
well, he put the diving
scuba
mask in the scuba mask, just like P. Sherman Wallaby Way. Just like the diving mask that the diver lost when he scooped up Nemo.
That might be a...
When Nemo touched the bud, when he meant the boat. Nemo touched the bud.
It
So-
might have also the second movie, though.
Yeah, well, no, I'm gonna have to watch Finding Dory because we never
Yeah.
watched Finding Dory. We saw Finding Nemo when Emma was little. Was one of her
Yeah.
favorite movies.
I
But
think real life open.
what?
In 2019, Ryan Mediocre what, 10? 10 years old or 5?
I don't know. Pardon me, y'all.
Okay.
So, thank y'all for joining us tonight. It's just after 8:00 here in San Antonio, Texas.
Yeah.
And until Saturday night, I think we're going to say goodnight, huh, Emma? Right?
Well,
Okay. Tell them.
I'm never...
I know.
As always, I want to thank you all so much for watching. Make a like, subscribe, and share with your social media if you haven't yet. Until Saturday night for card trivia for the card franchise.
For the Cars
Trivia.
franchise. It is a hard word for you to say. It's okay. Okay, so just say Cars 1, 2, and 3. Well, Cars, Cars 2, and Cars 3.
No, card movie
Series. Cars movie series.
franchise.
Franchise. Say Fran. Say Fran.
Franchise.
There you go.
Franchise.
There you go.
Franchise.
Linguistic lessons with Emma and Emma's mom.
Perfecto.
Come on.
The guy for the card trivia. Be welcome. Night, see you all
See
on
y'all
Saturday
Saturday.
night for card trivia. Franchise.
Yeah, don't end it. Make sure you do. There you go.
Mm.
There's your goodbye thing.
Night.